Hello creatives, welcome to Artist Star. My name is Beth and I am at the gallery today for the Zodiac series. This reading is for Gemini, whose correlating major arcana card is the Lovers. This is the artist card here to represent you as the open vessel ready to receive whatever source can draw from the well of infinite creativity. So Gemini, this is a new spread, another one of mine I call Pulling the Thread. This first row here, we're going to start out with the Soul's Journey deck, and we're going to ask what part of me is most ready to tap for that creative energy. Second row, with the Archetype cards, we're going to ask what angle needs to be explored more deeply, just to give us a little more insight into what the first row brings. And then the third row with the Spirit Messenger cards, we're going to ask what personality trait is supporting this energy. So hopefully to get a deeper still insight into where this energy is coming from. So to pull that thread and to get to the bottom, or as close as we can with this reading. We're going to follow up with the cards of truth and the Lenormand cards as always. And then we're going to ask one last question, and what else would Source like to share? We're going to do that with the Power Animals deck and with the Starseed cards. So let's get started with this first row and the Soul's Journey and ask what part of me is most ready to tap for creative energy. In this spread of Pulling the Thread, I like to turn all three at once and get a fuller, immediate, bigger picture to the question. So right off, we've got forgiveness. Forgiveness is always such a big ask. It's so easy, but so hard. Whether you're forgiving yourself or something mistreated or misgiven from somebody else, it is one of the tougher ones to grapple and come to terms with, I think. It's really hard to give up that just not having, oh gosh, what's a good word for it? See, it's so hard, I can't even get it off my tongue. But it is just, you can't there's no control over how someone else is going to exhibit their free will. You have no control over that. So the only thing you have control over is yourself and how you absorb or hang on to whatever it is that is out of your control. It's just an energy of hate and anger and intolerance or blame. And it's so blocking. It blocks the flow, just as it says here. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And love is where you need to go in order to open up and have that energy available to you. Not an easy thing to do. However, it can be done in pieces. Perhaps not all at once and all of it, but the more you understand the pieces of it by pulling that thread, the deeper you can go into letting it go for good and really come down to that knowing that you can only take care of yourself. And I think once you get to that, it makes it a little bit easier. But it's still not an easy thing to do, to be impacted negatively by something or someone that you feel is deeply wronged. All right, I'm going to get off that soapbox and move on to the Six of Hearts. clearly, that is a message for everyone, Gemini. It's not just for you. That is something we all need to hear. This is one for all 12 signs. But if this is the message that you need to hear today as a Gemini, then here it is. We've also got the Six of Hearts. Now this is in reverse, and which means it's a blocked energy. And we've also got the flowers. So the flowers are a great thing to have here. It is like the ray of sunshine, the ray of hope. It is happiness anew. So, and having an outlook that is encouraging. So when this forgiveness in part or in whole can happen, it does open up that door for pleasures to come true. That's what the flowers are telling you. So the Six of Hearts in reverse, the Six of Hearts is Venus energy, being six, the sixth day, Friday, Venus. It is a feminine quality here, a water quality with the heart suit, and it also relates to the Devil card in the tarot. So the Devil card, as we know, is one of making good choices, knowing yourself well enough to know what's best for you, and having the mentality and the strength to say no when you need to, and to have the courage and the willingness and just that energy to say yes and move forward with what does work. And as always, in the most noble, clean way possible, trying, not to cause any dismay or disruption in your own life or others, taking into full consideration your actions. Of course, you can never fully anticipate the fallout of these things, the consequences of making these choices, but in the end, and I shouldn't say but, because that just kind of disqualifies everything I've said before, but I should say in regards to that, and however that may happen, the consequences that unfold from our actions are always happening for their own particular reasons. So hard to stay present in this world, right? And right now there is so much forgiveness that needs to happen. All right. And I apologize for my voice. I am coming off of having COVID. It's not an easy thing to deal with, no matter how many vaccinations you've had. So I'm on the mend, much better, just the tail end of things, but feeling well enough to come up here and give a reading. So, So forgiveness, this is a big one to ask for the energy to be tapped from. And clearly there is somewhat of a block, a unknowing, or, maybe you are aware of it, but unknowing of the depth of the forgiveness that needs to happen. Because with this in reverse, it can be taking something for granted, or just ignoring something, or it can be ego-driven. So having that brought to the attention to look beyond that initial ego-fed and led emotion gives you a clue as to where to start. That would be self-forgiveness. It's okay to feel those things. The thing you do with those is be curious. Get curious about it and follow it through. Pull that thread. So let's find out what forgiveness, with the second row, with the archetype cards, we're going to ask what angle needs to be explored more deeply. So this is an angle about you and your personality and how that can help in opening up this energy for forgiveness to start to happen. Athlete. All right, so we've got the athlete. We've got the 9 of clubs and the mice. Very interesting row here. All right, so athlete. Strength. Light attributes. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Also necessary. Shadow attributes. Misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. False sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Oh, all those ego attributes. Yeah, it's okay. I think we have all experienced that at one point or another. I know I have, and I have a lot of the feelings around the shadow attributes here, because that feeling of entitlement is such a righteous wrong. And the light attributes of developing that personal willpower and strength of spirit, it's like it's something that I ask for every day to make it through the day, sometimes just to have that courage and willingness to stop and question myself and make the right choices, which is all about the 9 of clubs here, because the 9 of clubs is K2 energy. This is intellectual knowledge and pursuit of it. It is about having that knowing that you need to let something go, something for forgiveness' sake, about yourself, about others, about how you harbor ill will or unableness to loosen the grip on hanging on to something for dear life. And so the 9 of clubs here is hermit energy. So this is where you go into the meditative state and ask for the path to be revealed to you. It's a right direction pathfinder card, so it's lovely that it shows up here for you. It's as the 9s are, conclusions to preconceived instinctual thought and ideals, because you've brought them with you from a past life. These are things that are just immediate at the ready. It is like innately you. And so to ask for the dive into that personal place within you to start to investigate is really such a rich place to be delving into. So in a spread, it's a conclusion. It's finding that answer. And it's a source it's asking source to help you manifest the intuitive solving of information, right? Like problem solving information intuitively. It's a big ask. It's so beautifully there for you. And if you can get out of the ego and into the spirit way of thinking, just, the observer of the thought rather than buying into the thought, it's what I like to call pulling the thread. So if you can first go to the feeling of it and, recognize it and understand how much of it is yours to begin with, pulling that thread, finding out what emotion brings up, what's the triggers, and then how those triggers are triggered. And it gives you this beautiful insight into what makes you you. And when you're able to do that, there is so much beautiful energy. It all just becomes energy, good, bad, indifferent. It is just there to nourish you and your art from, just to bring it in there and make it so much deeper. Your pieces of work will just have this attraction that is hard to put a label on. You'll just see people gravitate towards them because it's there. So you also get the Myss card. So there's something here, either about yourself or some outside source that is trying to cheat you. So cheat you out of this beautiful energy, something that would like to rob it from you. So that could be your own ego. That could be your situation at the moment, how busy you are, how whatever demands are standing in the way. This doesn't have to mean that it is a physical person that wants to take that away from you or is standing in your path. It's more likely that you're finding it difficult to get out of your own way because you just haven't had enough information about whatever forgiveness needs to happen. So this is about your art, so we should consider that and you getting into the throes of it, being that open vessel, ready to receive. So, yeah. All right. So let's move on to the third row and see what we have with the spirit messages. So we get breathe, lovely card. We've got the Three of Hearts in reverse. And we have the Scythe. Well, always goes back to the breath, doesn't it? I mean, you can do so much with it. You can settle into it. You can deepen into it. Shallow breathing is just a red flag or a clue that you're unsettled, needing to be grounded. If you find yourself shallow breathing, it's time to stop and collect yourself and smell the roses. Just take a break and understand that you have to start with you. So let's see, the Three of Hearts in reverse. The Hearts cards are the artist suit, the emotional suit, and both of these are in reverse. Very interesting information even in that. The the Three of Hearts is the Mars card. It's the water as the other. It's feminine. It represents the correlating major arcana card is Temperance. So that is knowing your own inner strength and how to harness it for the better, for the greater good. But it's in reverse here. So it's unclear yet how much of this is yours to own. Source would share here that there's something here to it, that in order to have these flowers come in, being the encouragement and the door that opens with that to this new, revived inner pleasures of your own truth, so there for you to do this. So I guess the first place to go would be to ask, what resentments are you harboring? What is at the top of the list these days? Yeah, and the clue to getting there from here is through your breath. The breath is the vital bridge between your body and soul. It's the connection between the inside and outside, connecting you to the universe, spirit, and the divine source. The breath permeates your entire being with prana, which is the same life-giving force that nourishes everything in the universe. What a beautiful place to start, just with a deep breath. And if you see, there is a butterfly here, right on top of those lungs, breathing all the way down into the belly and just being, letting it go, just feeling. So yeah, a little more about the Three of Hearts and the scythe, which basically is something needs to go. So, it's basically saying any place you want to begin is going to be beneficial for you. And this 3 in reverse is mostly about having something hidden from you. So, and it is about creating better art. So if you can discover what this bit is that's being hidden, whether it's your own ego hiding it from yourself, saying, oh no, there's no truth in that, but then why did it come up for you to look at, to visit, perhaps visiting for a second, third, a lifetime of revisiting. There's something there. So that's where you want to take a look. It is what you're attracted to. It is how it's something that you are unwilling at the moment to step away from because you're incredibly invested in the outcome and or the nourishing bits that you have received up till now, because 3s are moving away from something unwillingly. So it's something that has served its purpose and it's time to let it go, yet you're quite not ready to do that yet. And you are avoiding looking at that situation for that knowledge that's you need to let it go and you need to look for something better to do, something different to bring into your art, something that you let go of and open a door. And be easy on yourself. It's not something that you've got to get harsh about. It's just time. So yeah, that's your message, Gemini. Full of abundance. Once you do, there is just this really lovely knowledge that's coming your way around your craft that you can really give it an upgrade here on many levels in this most beautiful and light, positive, energetic way. All right, so we're going to move on to what else Source would like to share. Let's look at the Starseed card, Abundance. Very nice. When your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance naturally open. Your heart's intention to serve humanity. So looking at the bigger picture, right? And you got Cat, perceptive and independent. All right, I'm going to read about the cat for you. And let's see what the cat has to share. Cats are free-spirited felines who have coexisted with humans for over 10,000 years. They are mysterious, intuitive, and widely admired for their independence and innate survival skills. It seems that no matter what situation arises, the clever cat always lands on his feet. When you receive this card, it's important to be selective about your needs and or desires right now. You may be thought of as finicky, but don't take it personally. Decisions that have a direct impact on your life are deserving of careful consideration. Call upon the spirit of cat for clarity. He is a dependable guide and will lead you to a right and just conclusion. If you've drawn the reverse, this is about the reverse image, so I'm not going to go there because you did not get it in the reverse. And yeah, really beautiful. He's a dependable guide and will lead you to the right and just conclusion. Very nice. Well, if you have a kitty cat, that would be awesome. Yes, I would say it would be time to go and say a thank you for the companionship and the lessons. Okay, well, thank you, Gemini, and as always, happy creating.